So for the longest time, I thought I was alone with this question. You're capable of so much. What's the holdup? There's so much that's possible for you. It's not happening. So much potential for all sorts of wonderful things. They're not happening. What's going on? What's the holdup? So I thought it was just me alone, and then I discovered, especially as I became a coach and moved into my coaching practice, that I would attract a lot of people with the same problem. Interestingly, it was a lot of people with ADD and ADHD who would have this sense of like, oh my God, like so many interests and so much capability, and I can't do it. I can't make it happen. There's a blockage there. There's something wrong. What's going on? And I would meet them there at that frustration, at that inability to make the thing happen. I'm here with you today because I want to talk with you about this particular strange problem of feeling like there's a lot that you're able to do and strangely you can't do it. And what's up with that, and how to repair your psychology at 4 key places. 4. Where once the repairs are there, then you are situated in such a way where you can do it, where the potential becomes real. That's the thing. I'm going to explain the 4 things and then that's a wrap. Let me know what you think of them when we're done. Let me know if you have any problems with what I say. Let me know if any of it's not clear. I would love to hear from you. So, my name is Brent. Good to meet you. I'm a coach. I do the following 3 things. I help people out of chaos and into order, out of stagnation, life stagnation, and into flow, out of powerlessness and into empowerment. And if you're interested in the one-on-one work that I offer, there's a link in the description below. Check it out. I will take care of you from there. And with that said, let us get into the show. So, let us begin with a crucial thing that you need to know as we get into our journey here. For the longest time, what I believed, and really kind of what I wanted to believe about having dormant, unexpressed, unrealized potential, is that it's automatic. Like that potential is going to take care of itself. It's going to express itself, one way or another. It's going to happen. Don't worry about it. And I no longer believe this to be the case. I don't think this is, strictly speaking, true. It's true in a way, and here's the way in which it's true. Where if there's something in you that you're here to do, you have a vision, there's something that you want to make or create or become or practice or learn, whatever. There's like this inner mandate, this inner calling, and you don't do it, then as a result of not doing it, there will be a buildup of pain. Now, this is a very strange sort of existential pain. It's a very deeply held, throbbing, dull, aching, almost numbing kind of pain. And it goes from dormant to active. It spikes when you are in the presence of somebody who has answered the call. And you're like, it makes you feel bitter and resentful. And it also takes its toll on your body. It makes the body feel weak. It makes you feel foggy. And it puts you in a position where you need more and more distractions from your life. So it means more screen time, a proclivity to addictions. I have found, anecdotal based on my own experience, proclivity to anything that allows you to escape from feeling your own self. Because when you stop and become quiet and you encounter the pain in yourself of not acknowledging your own internal calling to do that which you are here to do, and we'll explain what that means as we go on, then it just hurts. It just fucking hurts. And it's no good. So that pain gets worse over time. It builds. And what you need to do in order to cope with it builds over time. And so going into it, we can call this ground zero. This is the first thing that there is to discover. It's that if you want to become healthy, if you want to just even feel okay, like on a very soul existential level, then it means answering the call. So we're here to talk about answering the call. So here are the 4 decisions that I was talking about just a moment ago. Here's number 1. The first thing that you're going to have to accept. Your inner potential is real and can be realized. This is something that you have to decide is true. Now, do not get me wrong. This is not positive thinking. This is not positive psychology. This isn't me saying believe in yourself no matter what. Kind of is, but let me qualify. You have to make a decision about whether or not your potential can be realized. And that decision needs to be deep enough that even when you encounter disappointment, and encounter disappointment you will, that this thing remains true. If you encounter disappointment, but your decision that you've made about your potential is not deeply rooted enough, then you start to doubt it. And you start to doubt, oh, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just up in my head. Maybe I'm too airy-fairy. You know what I mean? Then you start doubting yourself. And once you start doubting yourself, then you are split. Your intention is split and your time is wasted. Then you're going to go through a period of not believing in your potential. And then that pain that we were just describing begins to build up before you go, oh, okay, maybe I should give it another try. But that could be years in the future. And it is for some people. Whereas if you make a decision deeply enough that your potential is real and can be actualized, it can be actualized, even when you run into disappointment 1 time, 10 times, 100 times, 500 times, that you may nevertheless have to nurse yourself back to health. You may need to care for yourself and console yourself and do whatever you need to in order to feel good again. That basic decision that we're talking about nevertheless does not get touched. It doesn't get touched. It remains as it is. It's real. Now this brings us to an interesting question about whether or not your potential versus, say, your ambitions. Is it possible to have an ambition that is overly ambitious? You know, in this lifetime, you want to become an astronaut, a world leader, an Olympic medalist, you know, a musician, all these things, right? You want to become all these things. Is there a hard limit on what is possible for you? Perhaps. This could be the case. My stance on this kind of thing is that I refuse. I have a basic refusal to limit anything. So you'll never hear out of my mouth me saying something is not possible. I just don't believe in anything not being possible. Nevertheless, you may find that there's a distinction between a series of ambitions that your ego just throws out into the air, like, okay, yeah, I want to be this, 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 and that, as opposed to an inner calling to create something or to become something or realize a specific vision. And so, in a way that may seem to contradict what we were just saying, you may want to ask yourself, do I actually believe that this is possible? When you look at this vision that you intend to create. If the answer is no, then I suggest that you either alter or abandon it. Don't go for anything that you don't believe is actually possible. But what I can say is that 100% of the time, when you consult yourself in authenticity, in the spirit of true honesty, and honesty will be required every step of the way, what am I here to do? What is there in me to express? And you see a vision that could be very large and grandiose. But you ask yourself, do I believe in my ability to do this? That, and if the answer is yes, that is what we commit to. You commit to that. Because when it comes time to act, and we're going to get into the action part of it, when it comes time to throw something on the wall and actually make it happen, you can guarantee that your psychology is going to do a complete about face. And it's going to attempt to discourage you from doing what you're doing. This is what it means to have a mind. That's just how it is every single time. That's when it goes into a discouragement mode, because it likes to kind of keep you in this little section here. In that moment, that's when you're going to want to commit and stay committed to the original vision. So is this clear? So one more time, just to summarize this, because I'm aware that I threw a whole lot at you right now, so let's just wrap this all up. In a moment of silence, authenticity, honesty, you ask yourself, what do I believe I'm capable of? What do I believe is possible for me? And what excites me to imagine accomplishing? Such that I actually kind of want to get going on it, even though it's kind of scary. That vision, if you ask yourself in honesty, do I think I can do this? Do I suspect that I can do this? And if the answer is yes, and if there's an inner calling, an inner sense of guidance to do it, You want to commit to that. That is what you want to have your primary allegiance to. And so when you encounter procrastination, when you encounter fear, hesitation, procrastination, this psychology, this aspect of your psychology, we can respect, like, okay, yeah, I respect that. That's fine. No need to get angry at it, but it's not the truth. It's not telling me the truth. Whatever message it offers me, like, oh, maybe you're asking for too much. Oh, maybe this is not possible. Maybe nobody wants this thing. All of that is psychology that is just preventing you from expansion. So to summarize, you want to ground yourself in your primary knowing, in your intuitive knowing of what is possible. And this, I'm telling you, is real. So this is something you have to assume. You have to assume. You have to accept. You have to decide as deep as you possibly can that this is true. Okay. Number 2. It's one thing to have made this acceptance, but the other assumption, number 2, is that you know how to do it, because that's a whole other thing. It's one thing to have a sense of, I can do this, this, and that, but how do I do it? I don't know how. And this has plagued me too. I went through a section of my life feeling like, okay, yeah, I can do it, but I don't know how. What do I do? And then in this section, you can fall victim to, am I doing this right? Am I doing it wrong? What am I supposed to be doing? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And then you run into a host of self-doubt. Is this it? Is this what I think this is wrong. Maybe I should be doing something else instead. And the problem is that it presupposes some sort of objective correct answer that you're just kind of vaguely taking a stab at, that you're hoping you stumble across, but there's no way of truly verifying. And this is wrong. How do you actualize your potential? Well, we do this with the assumption that you come with the instruction kit. That the way to do it is immediately accessible via that same intuition. You are required to accept this. You are required to decide this. Ask yourself right now, shut the fuck up and ask yourself, what's the first step? What's the first step? And your job is to offer that question to yourself and listen to it, and don't sweep it away. Don't deny it, because the deeper we are in self-doubt, the more likely we are to get a pristine little nugget from our intuition and then just swipe it away, being like, there's no way that could possibly be true. But then now we're already lost. Now we're left with, well, I don't know what to do. And then your intuition offers you like a different alternative kind of answer. And you're like, no, that can't be it either. And then we're just lost in a sea of self-doubt. And then we're stuck in that problem. You're capable of so much, but nothing's happening, right? If it's your desire to do the thing, to realize the potential, to make this real, there's no way to do it aside from having a pristine one-to-one connection, a high fidelity connection between you and your intuition. Deep trust is required. I've spoken a lot about self-trust. Just find my videos on self-trust where we go deep into it. There's one called Can You Trust Yourself Too Much, I think. I talk about that specifically. Suffice to say, number 2 is you have to accept that you know how. Number 3, the third thing that you will need to accept is that you will necessarily be led into the unknown. To me, this is the really cool thing. I'm going to share with you my favorite way of thinking about this, right? You have this internal vision of what's possible. I feel like I could become a musician and create some beautiful music. I feel it. I can hear it in my heart. I want to make this music, right? Or there's this idea that I have for a story that I want to write. Or there's like a big move that I want to make in my life, and I really think it'd be a good idea. I think it would work. On one hand, you have this vision, so like the compass is pointed somewhere, that's cool. But despite the fact that you have this vision, you don't actually have a memory of ever having done it before. You've never done it before. And how does the survival mechanism feel about you doing something that you've never done before? It does not like it. Doesn't like it. The hilarious thing about this is that it doesn't matter. It does not matter what it is. It could be a different brand of toothpaste, I'm telling you. The ego mind, the survival mind, does not like doing anything that it hasn't done before. It's just how it is. So if you take some novel action, there is a sort of drama queen that comes out in all of us that makes it into a much, much, much bigger thing than it actually is. Haven't you noticed? Like, just getting yourself, not to complete something, but just to start something, like just to do something slightly different, like the mind is like, way too much. This is way too hard. I can't do it. And then it like come up with any excuse that it possibly can to not do it. Nevertheless, you're going to be led into an area around which you will want to procrastinate, around which self-doubt will come up, and around which your belief structures will prevent you from going. So there's the procrastination and self-doubt piece, but then there's also this belief system piece. And so here's do I want to tell you about this now? I'm going to save this after. Okay, you'll see what I mean. So here's the fourth thing that you'll have to accept. So we've already covered that your potential is real and can be realized. And we've covered that you not only can it be realized, but you know how. And the third piece is that you are necessarily going to be led into the unknown. So the fourth is that to make all this happen, bold, novel action is required. Consistent, faithful, novel action. Novel meaning never having done it before. Or if you've done it once before, you've never done it several times, or you've never made it that far with that thing, or you've never been able to establish it as a habit before. As you do this, this fourth one is the most crucial one because this is what actually moves the needle. Isn't this so? The psychology is important, the orientation is important, the spirituality is important, getting clear is important, but none of it happens unless there is action. Consistent, faithful action, not just any action, but action on what the guidance is telling you. And then as you do this, and this is what I was going to get to about beliefs, you are going to encounter your own psychology. There's a really cool thing, and I learned this from Haruki Murakami as he talks about writing. I've never read this book. He has a book called What I Talk About When I Talk About Running, and he describes how as he writes his books and as he goes through his routine, he's moving deeper into his unconscious mind, his subconscious mind. So he has this routine where he runs for like 5 or 6 hours every single morning, and then has lunch and listens to jazz, and then spends the afternoon writing and goes to sleep. And that's just his whole life as he writes a book for however long it takes to write the book. And he talks about that routine having a hypnotic quality as it moves him into his subconscious mind. And this is my finding too, that as you act on that inner guidance, on one hand, you are moving into your life, you're moving into success, you're making stuff happen, but you're also moving deeper into your own subconscious mind. And what happens is that as you encounter blockages in your life, you also encounter your own subconscious mind. You encounter blockages in your subconscious mind. You encounter psychology that would never prevent you from succeeding, that obviously needs to be addressed. There's so many examples. A major one is the idea that I was hinting at a little bit earlier about this idea that success happens automatically and all you have to do is just trust that it's going to happen. I experimented with this idea for a very long time and I really believed it. I mean, I really liked it and it made sense, according to my interpretation of it. But as I continued forward, I had to encounter directly that this is not exactly true. That to create success, there's a certain integration of action and participation and surrender. But the part where you have to do stuff and put in effort and try really hard, that part is also necessary. There's no getting around it. So as you act on your intuition and move forward, everything in your mind and in your psychology that would prevent you from succeeding also shows up and has to be addressed. And you need to be equipped with the skills that you need to release psychology that does not affect you, or that does not benefit you, so that you can keep moving forward. And that you will do, because if we don't have items 1, 2, and 3 firmly in place, then we're just going to assume that our psychology is correct. That's what we do. We always assume that our beliefs are correct, and then we'll be lost. And once again, in this territory of you're capable of so much, so why is nothing happening? So that's it. That's it. That's the 4 things. I hope you enjoyed. Check out all my links in the description below. Anything else to let you know about? Anything else to close out on? Yes, there's this. I wanted to find a way to reassure you at the very end of this video that like as long as you do all these things, then you're definitely going to express your potential. And I can't give you any guarantees, even though I'd really want to. And I think that's good, and here's why. Because if I did, you would have to accept that from me on my authority, and then everything that you do going forward would be on the promise that I gave you about your potential, and this would not be the ultimate expression of your sovereignty. Nevertheless, here's a much more powerful way of viewing this conversation from like a 50,000 foot standpoint. How would you prefer to live your life? How would you prefer to grapple with your potential? Because the thing is, as we discussed, if you're not willing to take it seriously and truly engage with it, then it means by definition that you won't, and then you have to live that life of not engaging with your potential. And to me, that's clearly worse. Wouldn't it be so much better, even if it turns out that it doesn't turn out the way you wanted to, or if it falls short of like the biggest, most grandest vision that you ever had, which who knows, I mean, it could end that way. Wouldn't you so much prefer to engage with life that directly, as if you really were gonna die, as if life really meant something, as if you really wanted to live, as opposed to wait and bide your time until the whole thing ends? I suggest taking this business of your inner visions of possibility very seriously and act upon them. Continuously act upon them. All right, catch you later.